Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up and support the electrification of transport today. And by this year's electric vehicle raffle for the planet from CCAN Action Fund. Buy your ticket today to support CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for a cleaner air and healthier environment, and get 3 chances to win a brand new EV with every ticket. And by EnergySage. Time is running out in the US to get the benefit of federal tax incentives, so plan your energy independence today. Welcome back to another episode of TEN Transport Evolved News. Thanks for being here. Before we get into today's stories, I would like to say thank you to those of you who had kind words following last week's show. We're updating things a little more in the coming weeks, so keep your eyes peeled. And yes, there are now show notes accompanying this show at our website. Link in the down below. With US federal EV tax credits ending on September 30th and the White House pushing an increasingly anti-EV agenda, many have predicted a drop in EV sales in the US this year. But Cox Automotive's latest data tells a different story, at least so far. Though Q2 saw a modest dip, the first half of 2025 still set a new record of 607,089 EVs sold, the best first half of the year for EVs in the US to date. Growth from GM, Honda, Stellantis and Volkswagen drove this, with GM selling nearly 40,000 more EVs than it did in the same period last year. But Tesla sales dropped by more than 30,000, with Hyundai Motor Group, Mercedes-Benz, Rivian and Ford also showing noticeable declines over previous years. Cox forecasts Q3 sales will set records as buyers rush to beat the tax credit deadline, and frankly, all of us here agree. Mercedes-Benz is known for practical and capable wagons, and now it has one for its soon-to-launch CLA with EQ technology. Officially called the CLA Shooting Brake with EQ Tech, the team at the channel here note that it has 4, not 2 side doors, so is technically a wagon. But most importantly, it promises up to 761 kilometres, that's 475 miles of range on the WLTP test cycle, as well as a 10-minute recharge at an 800-volt charging station, adding around 310 kilometres or 195 miles of range in ideal conditions. Mercedes-Benz's press release wants to highlight a fancy switchable panoramic electrochromic roof with starfield effect for this particular car. There's also a choice of different drivetrain options, but what impresses me the most is the 1,290 litres, that's 45.6 cubic feet of load space with the rear seat folded, plus a frunk, of course. Nissan may be financially hurting right now, more on that later in the show, but despite reports of delays and changes to its EV production, the brand is pushing hard to promote its new LEAF. This week, that included Shunsuke Shigimoto, chief engineer of the upcoming LEAF, sitting down for media interviews. As he told Electrive this week, Nissan prioritised efficiency when it designed the soon-to-launch 2026 LEAF. He noted that 15 years of production EV experience helped the company bring its best ideas to the new model. Acknowledging the chronic heat-related battery degradation that plagued earlier LEAFs, Shigimoto highlighted major improvements in the new version: a shorter wheelbase, better battery cooling and HVAC, improved aerodynamics, redesigned motor, an IGBT-free inverter, and a far more efficient onboard electrical system. As is always the case, though, the proof is in the metaphorical pudding, aka getting behind the wheel for ourselves. Regardless of where you stand on the topic, hands-free driving, or more accurately, hands-free driver assistance, is quickly becoming an expected feature on high-end electric vehicles. Over the past year, more and more automakers have introduced some form of hands-off, eyes-up tech, typically limited to divided lane highways. And now Lucid joins that list. This week, it confirmed an over-the-air update to its Dream Drive system will soon enable eyes-up, hands-off highway driving and hands-free lane change assist on both the Lucid Air and Lucid Gravity. Lucid's system uses a full suite of radar, visible light cameras, ultrasonics and LiDAR. While some systems on the market claim to operate on virtually any road, Lucid's approach, like most, is designed specifically for controlled access highways. As General Motors readies its next-generation Bolt for launch, and while there are those spy shots floating around right now, which we don't have permission to show, sorry, we do have some big news about said vehicle's battery pack. We've known GM plans to use LFP battery packs in that next-generation Bolt because LFP cells are cheaper, have greater thermal and electrochemical stability, and don't require cobalt or nickel. And this week, GM confirmed that Ultium Cells LLC, its joint venture with LG Energy Solutions, will begin upgrading its Spring Hill, Tennessee facility later this year to produce LFP cells for future EVs by late 2027. While GM hasn't confirmed which models will use the cells, the new Bolt, a rumoured lower-cost Equinox EV, and a future Silverado EV work truck are likely candidates. As an expat Brit, I can categorically say there is plenty I disagree with the current UK government about, but I'm not going to use this particular show to air my grievances. This week, however, that government did something I can get behind, a £2.5 billion sterling commitment to the UK auto industry under a new programme called Drive 35. It's aimed at supporting the development and manufacturing of zero-emission vehicles in the UK. At the same time, the UK government also announced a £650 million EV grant programme, which offers up to £3,750 off the price of a new EV, with a recommended retail price under £37,000 sterling. That grant is weighted based on how green the manufacturing process is for each vehicle, and it cuts out many higher-end expensive models, but making entry-level EVs a little bit more affordable to boot. Electric bicycles are brilliant. They're a great way to leave the car at home, especially where public transit is lacking. And there are scads of scientific studies backing up the health benefits of riding one. But one of the biggest frustrations of e-bike ownership, especially if you don't want to remove the battery every time you charge it, is dealing with the charger brick. E-bike company Tyler has a solution, and it's been offering it for years. Inductive charging pads that use a special kickstand to wirelessly top up your e-bike. Until now, Tyler's focused on commercial fleet operations, think bike share schemes and cargo bikes. But this week, thanks to Electrive, we learned it is about to launch a consumer version called Tyler Compact. It's a smaller version of its tech, and it just opened pre-orders for €29 deposit. Inductive charging isn't for everyone, but using the kickstand as a charge point, that is a clever hack, especially if you make lots of short trips. If you're in the US or Canada, you've probably seen the reborn Ford Bronco out and about on the road. It's Ford's answer to the Jeep and is selling like hotcakes in many markets. For a while now, I and plenty of others have wondered if Ford's Go Anywhere off-roader would get an electric treatment, and now we know the answer. Yes. According to Ford Authority and Chinese market expert Taiko Defeiter, Ford, via its Chinese subsidiary Jiangling Motor Corporation, has filed official paperwork to sell both all-electric and range-extended versions of a Bronco in China. As for specs, expect all-wheel drive with 130 kilowatts up front and 202 kilowatts at the rear. Claimed range is 650 kilometres, which is around 404 miles on the Chinese test cycle. It will also surprisingly come with LiDAR and some semi-autonomous features and is due to launch in China later this year. But don't get too excited, because it does appear to be a Chinese-only vehicle. For now, at least. Most people think that to keep your EV battery in tip-top shape, you need to baby it, drive it gently, avoid extreme states of charge, and follow every bit of charging advice to the letter. But here's something that might surprise you, and some of us have known this for some time. Giving your EV the occasional spirited drive might actually help your battery's long-term health. A new study published from Stanford University found that so-called dynamic cycling, which is driving with more variation and the occasional full send, can improve the average lifespan of a lithium-ion cell by as much as 38%. That's compared to one that's coddled by the world's most timid right foot. So go ahead. Plant your right foot to the carpet now and then. Drive it like you stole it. Your battery will thank you. Just, stay within the speed limit, because I'm not paying your speeding tickets. I can't afford them. And finally, for this segment, California has long seen a battle between utility companies and homeowners with solar, with utilities pushing for legislation that's frankly anti-green, anti-consumer, and anti-solar. This week, the California State Senate struck a significant blow to the latest attempt to do that, AB 942, which is heavily influenced by utilities. It was aiming to let power companies break feed-in tariff contracts and slash or eliminate net metering credits, even on contracts that could last for another 20 years. But the California Senate Energy Committee has removed those dangerous provisions. Utilities have argued for years that net metering unfairly burdens non-solar customers, but the reality here is that they'd prefer to pay nothing for clean power and charge you instead. The bill isn't dead yet, but the clauses that were most damaging, the ones that would have allowed utilities to backtrack and break those long-term contracts, they are gone, hopefully for good. I'll have more stories in a moment, but first a quick ad from our friends at CCAN Action Fund, and believe me, this is one ad you don't want to skip because it's offering you the chance to drive off in a brand new EV while supporting an amazing non-profit that's working for a cleaner environment. This year, the electric vehicle raffle for the planet from CCAN Action Fund is its best yet, because every ticket gives you not one but 3 chances to win an amazing EV, letting you make the transition to a cleaner future. The grand prize winner gets to pick from one of 6 new luxury EVs: the rugged Rivian R1S SUV, the powerful Rivian R1T pickup, a brand new Lucid Gravity SUV, ultra-efficient Lucid Air sedan, sought-after Porsche Macan EV, or iconic Porsche Taycan. Meanwhile, second-place winners will be given the choice between the Hyundai Ioniq 5 or, our recent favourite, the Volkswagen ID. Buzz. And for the first time, there's also a third-place EV winner, the highly popular Chevrolet Equinox EV. Only 10,000 tickets will be sold, and tickets are just $200 while supporting the CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for a cleaner air and healthier environment. Even better, the group covers state and federal taxes, as well as tariffs. They're all covered too. Head over to www.evraffle.org to grab your ticket. That's evraffle.org, or check the show notes or on-screen QR code, which is right there, to win the EV of your dreams. We are off to recall reminders now, and 1 week after I introduced it, we do just have one. But you all generally liked it, so we're keeping it. Our solitary recall this week is for the giant bicycle Momentum Vida E Plus and E bikes, which the brand is recalling to address a potential fault with the fork steerer tube that could crack and fail. You can find out more by following the link in our show notes. And yeah, that's it for this week's recall reminders. So now it's time for our news shorts, and as with last week, those show notes are available on our vlog at transportevolve.com. including full source links. Mercedes-Benz and Power-X have opened their first branded charging site in Japan. It features 2 high-powered CHAdeMO chargers connected to a battery-backed grid stabilizer. UK transit operator First Bus has launched First Charge, a programme allowing private EV drivers to use its existing bus depot charging infrastructure. The first site is now live in Glasgow, Scotland. PepsiCo has announced a new partnership in the UK with XPO Logistics that will see the company increase its electric semi-delivery fleet in the country. PepsiCo aims for net zero by 2050. Following earlier changes to its distribution network elsewhere around the world, BYD has signed an agreement in Sweden with its now former distributor to retake control of vehicle delivery and distribution. According to Chinese authorities, a new lithium ore deposit estimated at over 490 million tonnes has been discovered in China's Hunan province, one of the largest known deposits of its kind. It's classified as an altered granite-type lithium deposit. Also in China, Beijing has tightened restrictions on material exports. This week, it added battery cathode material preparation technology, commonly used in LFP battery prep, to the list of items banned without a prior export license. Chinese battery firm CATL has signed a memorandum of understanding with BHP Group Limited to explore developing battery-powered and fast-charging equipment and locomotive for BHP's mining operations. Blink Charging has officially taken over after-sales support for Everon customers following the recent closure of EV charging specialist EVBox, effectively adopting Everon's sites as Blink ones. In related news, Blink has also announced the acquisition this week of Zemetric, a company specialising in charging infrastructure for multifamily and high-utilisation sites. The Scottish Parliament has greenlit a new £2 million fund designed to support transit operators decarbonising heavy-duty goods vehicles across the nation. Polestar is celebrating a strong second quarter, delivering 18,049 cars, a 38% year-over-year growth. Its second-half sales are up 51% year-over-year. As slower-than-expected sales take place, Volkswagen and partner SAIC has officially closed a jointly operated plant in Nanjing, China. The facility primarily made ICE models but also produced some EVs. Panasonic Energy has officially begun mass production of 2170 form factor lithium-ion cells at its new Kansas production facility. However, reports say the plant is ramping up to full capacity slower than expected due to lower demand from Tesla. Fossil fuel giant BP has agreed to sell its filling stations, convenience stores and EV charging network arm BP Pulse to CATL. The move is part of BP's plan to exit retail operations in the Dutch market. Rivian has announced a new facility in London, UK, that will focus on AI and autonomous driving tech. It now has locations in 6 different countries outside of the US. Kia has opened a new solar-covered parking facility at one of its Georgia production plants that both generates power for the facility while also shielding new cars from damage from increasingly severe hailstorms. Meanwhile, in the UK, Kia has opened orders for the sedan or fastback version of its EV4, one of the few markets in the world to offer both hatchback and sedan variants. Pricing starts at just over £40,000 sterling. YASA, specialists in axial flux motors for EVs, set a new unofficial record this week for power density, producing 550 kilowatts from a motor weighing just 13.1 kilograms, which is just under 30 pounds. GM and Redwood Materials Redwood Energy have signed a non-binding memorandum of understanding to enable second life use of spent EV battery packs from GM vehicles. The French government has reintroduced a social rental system to make leasing electric cars more affordable for lower-income households. The programme launches on September 30th. Skoda has launched a new variant of its popular Enyaq EV in the UK. Called the Enyaq Cargo, it's a 2-seat model with the rear seats replaced by a cargo area and blackened-out rear windows. A new partnership between Clean Drive and the Welch Group will convert diesel-powered Renault D-Series 18-ton rigid trucks to all-electric drivetrains. Welch Group will handle the conversions using Clean Drive components in the UK. EV charging network Ionna has just celebrated reaching its 3,000th contracted charging bay across the US, thanks to a new partnership with Wawa retail locations across the US's southeast. Kia has unveiled a new EV in the Indian market called the Carens Clavis EV. It's a mid-size model with a choice of 52 or 51.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack and 100 kilowatt DC fast charging. Canadian EV charging manufacturer Flow has announced a layoff of 80 staff across Canada and the US, as well as the closure of one of its 3 assembly facilities. The company blames US tariffs for the cuts. Electric eVTOL aircraft company Joby has expanded manufacturing in Ohio and California and added a new model to its fleet. The company aims to enter the market within the next year. NIO's subsidiary Onvo has officially opened orders in China for its newest model, the L90. This 3-row family-friendly electric SUV offers 6 or 7 seats and supports battery swap stations. Rivian has established a new East Coast headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, as part of its global expansion. The facility is near its planned, if somewhat delayed, new production facility. A production facility in Kenitra, Morocco, where Stellantis makes the Citroën Ami, Opel Rox E and Fiat Topolino, will more than triple production volumes as demand for electric quadricycles soars. Chevrolet has officially dropped the rear-wheel drive variant of its Blazer EV for the 2026 model year. Instead, it will offer the LT front-wheel drive, RS front-wheel drive and SS all-wheel drive variants. Hyundai has built 2 custom vehicles, an Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 9, to help reseed forests in Korea devastated by wildfires in 2022. These special vehicles feature seed ball dispersing drones. Nissan has officially priced its US dollar and euro denominated convertible bonds, aiming to raise over 860 billion yen in additional capital as the brand seeks to continue its restructuring. Stellantis has officially halted development on its fuel cell vehicle programs in Europe. The brand says the hydrogen market shows no mid-term development prospects and has therefore cancelled all of those programs. UK charging specialist GridSurf, operator of EV forecourts across the nation, has raised £100 million in a new capital from existing shareholders. The funds will support expansion of its facilities. Uber and Baidu have formed a multi-year partnership to deploy thousands of Baidu Apollo Go autonomous vehicles on Uber's platforms in both the US and China over the coming years. Meanwhile, BMW has paired up with Momentum in China to work together on building new autonomous driver assistance products for use in future cars, including BMW's new class EVs. XPeng's flying car spin-off Aeroht has completed a Series B funding round, raising $250 million to help bring its land aircraft carrier modular flying car to production. The city of Hanoi in Vietnam will ban private fossil fuel motorbikes on its ring roads by this time next year. The move aims to encourage the nation's huge scooter user base to ditch petrol and adopt electric. Chinese automaker giant Geely has officially confirmed it's taking Zeekr private in a deal valued at $6.83 billion. Zeekr will become a subsidiary and will no longer be publicly traded. Italian manufacturing specialist Como has designed and built a fully equipped dry room laboratory to develop and test cell manufacturing equipment it has built for the automotive industry, which could accelerate EV battery cell production. Not to be outdone by rivals in Europe, Lancia has unveiled a hot hatch variant of its Ypsilon EV. Called the Ypsilon HF, it hints at a future series production model. Rivian's EVs will soon get an over-the-air update, adding Google Maps real-time traffic and route planning, effectively retiring Rivian's previous navigation systems. The town of Sønderborg in Denmark was home to the first domestic Danish electric airplane flight this week. As part of the town's Project Zero, a scheduled all-electric flight left Sønderborg for Copenhagen. And finally, for the news shorts, Mercedes-Benz let slip this week that it plans on utilising in-car cameras to allow some of its vehicles to transmit a video signal of the driver to Microsoft Teams meetings that take place while the vehicle is in motion, while also cutting video from other participants. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Don't forget, show notes have links to all of the stories. Our final two stories are coming up in a second, but first a quick word from one of today's video sponsors, EnergySage, which can help US residents green their home's energy and heating. EnergySage connects you with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can guide you through installing solar panels or getting a heat pump installed. And if you're not a homeowner, don't worry, because EnergySage can still help you green your electricity by joining up to a community solar program. I used EnergySage when I was looking for installers to put solar panels on the roof of our home, and their verified pros are knowledgeable and even introduced us to a great credit union that allowed us to finance the project with low monthly payments. As I mentioned in last week's show, HR1 is now US law, and all incentives for solar, including savings, are as much as 30% through the federal tax credit, will disappear at the end of this year. But solar projects take time, so if you want to lock in those savings, it is super important to act now because time is really running out. So follow the links below to sign up for either of EnergySage's free, no-obligation services and get the ball rolling today. And if you choose an EnergySage installer, we will also receive a small referral fee, so you will be helping out the channel too. Help the grid get greener, save money, support the show, and become energy independent. It's a win-win-win-win. And now it's time for those last two stories. Royal Enfield has a long-known reputation for its rugged Himalayan, with plenty of examples travelling the world, some even being ridden by popular motovloggers. So when the company teased an all-electric variant of this fun adventure bike some time ago, I, along with many other motorcycle fans, got pretty excited, especially after learning that it had been out testing in its namesake region, getting ready for the world stage. This week, we finally got the first details from some lucky folks at Indian site Zig Wheels, who got to test a prototype, and so far, the verdict is very positive. The publication reported the bike packs 74.5 kilowatts of power at the wheels, delivering impressive acceleration. That, combined with a 14 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which is almost as large as the battery I'm putting in my Vectrex VX1, is still some way from production, but oh please, can you make it happen, Royal Enfield? We need more electric adventure bikes in the world. And yes, for those who are curious, my Vectrex VX1 project is still happening. It's still ticking along, just a lot slower than I thought it would be. And finally, it wasn't so long ago that RoboTaxis were more of a curiosity limited to a few tech-savvy cities, but over this past year, we've seen a massive expansion in RoboTaxi fleets. This week, luxury EV brand Lucid, fresh off enabling hands-free driver assistance in its Lucid Air and Lucid Gravity, announced a new partnership with Nuro and Uber to bring a next-generation robotaxi service to, quote, dozens of markets around the world, end quote. Details are still sparse right now, but the plan is pretty straightforward. Lucid is going to work with Uber to deploy Nuro Driver SAE Level 4 robotaxis on Uber's global platform, with the first rollout scheduled for a major US city sometime next year. Given the frosty relationship between Tesla's CEO and Lucid's founder and former CEO, this move will, of course, draw Tesla's ire, especially as Tesla itself pushes its own robotaxi fleet. That said, I've got to be clear, I don't think neither Uber nor Lucid will design their robotaxi service maps to form a virtual phallus, because that wouldn't be very grown up now, would it? And on that note, we are done for today. A massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring the show. The EVA has been advocating for EVs since 1967 and remains firmly committed to a cleaner, greener future for everyone. You can join the EVA today to become an EV educator, meet like-minded fans, and get the support for your own transition to electric. That includes a low-interest loan program that can help you finance your next step. So find out more at myeva.org. Thanks also go out to CCAN Action Fund. Buy your tickets today at evraffle.org and be quick because only 10,000 tickets are being sold. And thanks to EnergySage. Follow the links below to plan your own energy-independent future before those tax credits disappear. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so for just $1.50 a month on Patreon. And if you can, we would all really appreciate it. In a world full of toxicity and corporate greed, our ad revenue has continued to drop, even as the number of ads Google inserts has soared. One video this week, I think we had 20 ads. And if we can't make up the difference between what we used to get from ads and what we're getting now, we're going to be in trouble. But the good news is this, just 400 of our 152,000 subscribers who don't already support the channel signing up for the equivalent of a fancy coffee a month would put us in a much better financial position. But if you can't do it right now, we totally understand. Share our content, engage. It all helps. Don't forget too that we're also available for third-party video production work in the greater Portland, Oregon area, and you can find our latest merch, including our Pride designs, at the merch store, links below. You'll also find an Amazon affiliate link below that helps support the channel, even when you have to use it. We publish content every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday on this channel, and every Sunday you'll find something a little bit more informal on Transport Evolved Take 2, which, is our informal behind-the-scenes channel. To finish, I want you to remember something. You are valid and you are loved, and you belong, no matter what anyone says or tries to take that away from you. Living your authentic life, or coming from a different place or culture, is not, as some folks are trying to claim these days, a sin. Right now, division and hate aren't just tolerated, they are actually encouraged by those in power. People who are driven by a lust for cruelty, it seems. And in this particular timeline, kindness and empathy become acts of resistance. Empathy is not a weakness. It is a skill that we must nurture and regularly practice to hold on to what's left of our shared humanity. And if you need to rest or step back, that is also okay. Taking care of yourself is very important. And when you are ready, come back, stand up for decency, community, and justice. Peacefully act together, build connections that celebrate every voice, embrace diversity, and learn from the past to shape a better future. Wherever you are, whoever you are, and whoever you love, you are not alone. Be an ally, be kind, be that positive change you want to see in the world. And please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or ignorance or fear win. As always, keep evolving.